G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make this really pretty hat. But here's an interesting fact for you. One is using worsted weight yarn with a 5.5mm crochet hook, that is the coral coloured one. And the smaller one is using 8-ply or double knit yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. They both have the same amount of increased rounds, but the coral one does have an extra one on the length. I cannot believe the difference in size, and I can understand it if you're using a pattern and you use different yarn, you can be in a lot of trouble by getting different size. Both of the yarns I've used for these hats are from redheart.com. Redheart.com is a great place for inspiration for colour and also a great place to find your next crochet project. Redheart.com also has knitting patterns. So let's get started on the lesson. There is a free written pattern located on my website and I will put the link that you need in the description box. For our supplies, I'm going to be using Red Heart Shimmer for the video tutorial, and I will be using a 4mm or a G size hook. Going to need a yarn needle with a large eye and a pair of scissors. The Red Heart Shimmer is a thinner weight yarn than the Red Heart Super Saver. Even though they are still both a number 4, this yarn is thinner because it uses a smaller crochet hook. This is a great comparison to the 8-ply or double knit that we get here in Australia. So if you've got some Red Heart Shimmer, that is the thickness that we get here for our 8-ply and double knit. If you want to use worsted weight, you're going to need a 5mm or a 5.5, which is a H or an I size hook. I normally use a 5.5 when I use Red Heart Super Saver or a worsted weight yarn, but you can use a 5.5 if that's what you normally use. For the Red Heart Super Saver hat, I used the colour Coral, and I used about half a ball of that. So that's a 200 gram or 7 ounce skein of yarn, but it only uses about half. So you need about 3.5 or about 100 grams of that. If you're using the Super Saver, you will have less rows than rounds than what the thinner yarn has. But that's that one. So that was my tester one, just to test out the pattern. So I'm going to use a different thickness of yarn. So if you're in Australia, New Zealand or the UK, you use a lot of double knit or 8-ply. So this is a great hat pattern for you. And this hat pattern can also be made to fit any size head. The orangey coloured one, the coral colour, fits me, but this can be easily adjusted to fit a baby up to a larger size head. We've also got a written pattern for this hat. It is located on my website. All the links that you need are in the description box. So what we need to do is find the end of the yarn. And we're going to make a slip knot. You could also use a magic ring for this project, but I'm going to do chain 4 and join. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And yes, my crochet hook matches my yarn. I thought that was so cool. And then we're going to join to the beginning stitch with a slip stitch. Or you can use a magic ring if that's what you prefer to do. So into the centre, it's really small. What we want to do, we're going to chain 3. We're going to work 11 double crochet into the middle. This is such a pretty colour. I didn't mention the colour, did I? Oh, it doesn't have a name, it's just called Colour 3. But it is a very vivid purple and it's got sparkle. I don't know if you can see the sparkle on the camera, but it does have quite a bit of sparkle. So continue on until you have 12 double crochet, but chain 3 counts as your first stitch. When we get to the end, we're going to join into the top of the chain 3, so up here. And that's the first round of our work. So the next round is a chain 3, a 1 double crochet into the same stitch, chain 1 and 2 double crochet back into that same stitch. And that's the shell that is in this pattern. It's 2 stitches, chain 1, 2 stitches. Now what we want to do is skip the next stitch. So skip, gone into here, we're going to skip this one and go into the next one. And we're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet back in the same space. This yarn is really soft as well. It's very nice to use. I haven't used this for, actually I don't think I've used shimmer before, but this is really, really pretty. That's nice. So skip one into the next stitch. We're going to do that again. So 2 double crochet, both in the same stitch, chain 1, and then do the same thing. So 2 double crochet. We're going to repeat this all the way around, skipping a stitch and 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, all in the same stitch. Oh, you can see it sparkle. I can see it on my camera. Woo! It's so pretty. So I'll meet you when we get round here. Once we get around, we're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. And then we're going to slip stitch across to the chain 1 space. So slip stitch into the next stitch. And also the chain 1 space. We're going to chain 3. Double crochet into the chain 1 space. Chain 1. Then I'm going to work 2 more double crochets back into the chain 1 space. Then what we want to do is in the space between, we've got our shell there and then we've got our shell here and there's a gap in between there. What we're going to work is 3 double crochets into that gap that's there, so into the space. So going in there and work 3 double crochet. Into the chain 1 space, we're going to work our shell, which is 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet, into the next space, which is here, so it's in between our shells. We're going to work 3 double crochet, into the chain 1 space, we're going to work 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and from now on I'll just call that a shell so that I don't have to talk so much. Into the gap here we're going to work 3 double crochet, and into our chain 1 space we're going to work a shell. And we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. So it's a shell in your chain 1 space and 3 double crochets into the space between your shells. So once we get around, we're going to join to the top of the chain 3. Oh, hang on. First of all, I need to do 3 stitches in there. I was wondering why that gap looks so big. And now into the top of the chain 3, we're going to work our slip stitch to join. And it's not looking much like a hat, and it's not even looking like a circle, but trust me, it does work out. Okay, so we're on to our row 4. So once we've finished that, we're going to slip stitch across to the chain 1 space. So slip stitch in the top of the next stitch and also the chain 1 space. We're going to chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet. 1 double crochet into the chain 1 space, chain 1 into that same chain 1 space. We're going to work 2 double crochet, now this is where we do our increasing. These 3 double crochets here, what we do when we do our increasing, on the last double crochet of any of the rows of double crochet, we're doing an increase in that stitch, and then we do a shell into the shell. So what we need to do is double crochet in the next double crochet. So skip these 2 stitches because they're part of the shell. Into that one, we're going to work 1 stitch, 1 in the next, and this double crochet here is the last one of our set there, so we need to work 2 double crochets into that stitch. Into the next shell in the chain 1 space, we're going to work a shell. Then we come up to our 3 double crochets. We're going to increase in that last stitch, so it's into the first double crochet, it's 1, 1 in the next, and then 2 in the double crochet there. Into the next shell, work a shell. The next group of 3 double crochets, we're going to work an increase into the last one of that 3. So that's 1 and 1, and then 2 in that one. And we're going to repeat this around. So on the next row, see how we've got 4 stitches now? Our increase works in that very last stitch. So when we come around, we're going to work into the top of the chain 3, we're going to work a slip stitch. And now we're going to slip stitch across to the chain 1 space. Now depending on the size that you want to make this hat, depending on the size that you want to make this hat will depend on how wide across here that you want to make it. I'm just grabbing my tape measure. So this one so far is, if I can get it to sit there, approximately 4 inches across, which is about 10 centimeters. So if you times that by 3.14, you will get the answer to what the hat is going to be if you stop increasing now. I have a head size chart located on my website. The link that you need is in the description box. And this will give you all the head sizes that if you don't know what the head sizes are for certain age groups. It's all in that document. And what you do is you measure across, get your calculator and times it by 3.14, and that will tell you the size it's going to be. I know to make a hat to fit me, and I have a 58 centimetre head, I need to increase across until from one side to the other is 18 centimetres, or very close to that. So if it was 17.5, then that would be fine. But no bigger than 18 centimetres to get it to fit my head of 58 centimetres. Like I said, all the information is on my website. Excuse me. I print that out. If I was you, I have that laying around somewhere. It's not where I need it right now, but it is laying, I think it's on my computer desk actually. And I leave it there, and it's great for different size heads because I don't know them off the top of my head, so it's great just to have them handy. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. So this is round 1, 2, 3, 4, round 5. So we slip stitch across, we've done that, yep, chain 3, and we're going to work a double crochet into there. So we're just working our shell, so going back in there. So now we've got, so let's ignore the shell. Now we've got the 4 stitches from the previous row. We want to increase in this stitch here. So in these first 3 stitches, we're just going to work a double crochet. If this is big enough so far, and especially if you're using worsted weight yarn, it will be wider across there. You don't need to do any more increases. What you do is in that last stitch, you only do 1 double crochet. But I know that I need to increase this because it's quite small. And we're going to work 2 double crochets into that last stitch. So now we should have 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that row. So into our shell, we're going to work a shell. And then into the double crochets, we work 1 double crochet, but in that last one, we work our increase. First of all, we need to undo that knot. So in this last double crochet there, we're going to work an increase. And then in the next one, we're going to do a shell. We're going to repeat this all the way around, and I'll meet up with you when we get back to the beginning of the row and then we're ready to join. I keep saying row, it's actually a round because we're joining. So I'll meet you back here. When we get back around, we're going to join into the top of the chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, join with a slip stitch. I'm going to slip stitch across to the chain 1 space, and each increase round is exactly the same. Well, not technically exactly the same because we will gain an extra stitch here, but we always work one double crochet into each of the stitches, and on that last double crochet before our shell, we're working our increase. So I'll just show you this round. Then after that, if you need some more increases, you already know what to do, because this is a great easy pattern. There's really not much counting at all, which is good. Just grabbing some more yarn. So we're up to our last double crochet before our shell here. So we're going to work an increase. So it's 2 double crochet in the same stitch. And then our shell. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. and I will meet up with you when we get back to the beginning of the round. So as you can see, our hat is starting to curl up. If it's not curling up at all, I would say that your crochet hook you're using is way too big for your yarn. So I would unfortunately start again and drop down a few hook sizes. That's what it's looking like so far. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish increasing here, because on my orange hat, well, it's not really orange, it's coral. On my coral hat, I did, and if you can see, we've got an increase there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets by themselves, and that's the row that I'm pretty sure I'm up to. Got an increase, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm actually going to stop there with the increasing, because I actually want to compare, and I've never actually done this before, especially with a hat. I want to compare the difference between using 8-ply or double knit, or this yarn, this thick and lishy yarn, and crochet hook. I want to compare this with using the Red Heart Super Saver and the 5.5mm crochet hook. So I want, no, I think I used a 5mm. Yeah, I did. So I want to compare those together, because that could be a separate video just to show people just the difference that the sizes come out. If you're following a pattern and you've used the wrong size yarn, you can get in all sorts of trouble and it'll be completely different size. So from now on, once you have your enough increases, I've just slip stitched across to my chain 1 space and chained up 3. And you are going to increase depending on what size hat you need until you have the width that you need. Like I said, all the information is on that document on my website. And if you can't access that for some reason or another, if you measure across, times that amount by 3.14, and that will give you how big your hat is going to be. So what we need to do now is work our shell. And no more increasing. So into our double crochets, it's just 1 double crochet in every single stitch that we've got there. So in that stitch where we'd normally do 2, we're just going to do 1, because we're stopping our increasing. And we're just going to work around, repeating that. And we're going to repeat this row until we have the length that we need. Again, the lengths are on that document that's on my website. Comes in very handy for making hats. And I'm not just saying that, I've had a lot of people tell me as well, so I know that it's a good little document to have, because people will give me great feedback on it, which is good. So in the next video clip, you'll see how many rounds that I've done. You will need to make it probably 1 row short of what you want to do, because there is an edging that we add to our hat. If you don't want the edging and you want it to have that little peak there, then of course go on until you've got enough rounds. But if you don't want that peak and you want it to go straight across, because this hat here goes straight across. See how there's no peak at the top there? We can fix that up so it goes straight across. Some people didn't like the peak. Personally, I don't. I like it to be straight across, but that's just me. So continue on until you've got enough rounds. Like I said, if you're adding the straight bit, you want to stop 1 round before you have your length. If you're not, you're just going to continue on until you have your length. Once we have as many rounds as we need, this is going to be so cute. This is almost a newborn size. This is adorable. But anyway, on with the story. Once we get the length that we need, again, you can use the hat size charts located on my website to give you idea on length. You can leave it like this if you like the the point that the little shell gives there. I think that would be really cute on a baby, actually. I think that would be adorable. So you could leave that. But I've also done on the adult size one, so the coral coloured one, I've made it into a straight edge. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. It's funny, I didn't like the shell edge on the adult size, but looking at it on the baby one, it actually looks really cute. So what we need to do is we're going to be using a single crochet, a half double crochet, and a slip stitch. So into this one, we don't do anything at all. Into the stitches that are on the shell, we work single crochets, and on the stitches that are just in between, we work half double crochet. So into the first stitch of the shell there, well, technically it's the third or fourth stitch, but this one here, we're going to work a single crochet as well as the next one. Just going to zoom in slightly. Into the double crochets across, we're going to work a half double crochet. And the reason we change between stitches is we need different height stitches to make it even. So just working those across. When we get to our shell, in the first two stitches, we're going to work a single crochet. Into the chain one space there, we're going to work a slip stitch. So go in and pull straight through. The next two stitches, we're going to work a single crochet. And then our double crochets across here, we work half double crochet. When we get to the shell, we do a single crochet in the first two stitches. Into the chain one space, we work a slip stitch. Into the next two stitches, we do a single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around, working half double crochets across, and then your single crochet, slip stitch, single crochet in those two. So repeat that around, and I'll meet you when we get back to the beginning. So I've just finished my two single crochets in the first two double crochet there from the shell, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of the row there, and that's joined that together. So you'll notice now that it might be slightly less obvious that we have, of course it's a lot less obvious, look at that, than what it was before we had the actual pointy sections. So now just to even off this round, what we're going to do is just work a half double crochet. You could even use single crochet. So we chain one, half double crochet in the same stitch, and half double crochet in every stitch around. And when we come up to our slip stitch, we're just going to work, where's my slip stitch is there, so we're just going to work under the two loops of the slip stitch, just pretend like it was a normal stitch under the two loops. We're going to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet up when we get back to here. When we get around to the other side, we're going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch, and that's it. And you can work more rounds of half double crochet if you want, but that's enough for me. So pull that through. We're going to sew in our ends. I always sew my ends in on the back. just go back through. There we go. That is so cute. And I don't know if the sparkle is really showing up, but it's really obvious in real life, and it's really, really cute. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please subscribe, as there will be plenty more videos to come. Click that like button if you enjoyed the video, and also share it to your friends or your Facebook page. I would really appreciate that. Also, share your creations on our Facebook page. That would be cool. I'd love to see what yarn you've used, what size you've made, and what you've added to it, if you've added any flowers or anything to it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy crochet!